call the meeting.
Okay. Ready. You still there?
Yeah, we're just
Oh, okay.
waiting. We're halfway there. That's it. Maybe one more. Okay. Well, call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Roll
So
call
done. Vice President Palmer,
here.
Director Favram.
Here.
Here. All right.
Okay, any public comment? There's no one in the public here. I don't think there's anyone online. Hearing none, we'll move on to administrative items, the consent agenda, minutes for approval. Any public comment? None?
Move approval.
All right, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, business items 5, discussion of existing grants.
You guys are going fast. I like it.
Well,
Yeah. So existing grants. So under the existing grants thing, I'll just note that we did get the $75,000 from the state.
great.
And the really good news in that, coupled with the slightly higher than anticipated revenues through property taxes, means we do have a bit more money in our budget than I anticipated having at this juncture, which is good because you may recall, and we'll be talking about the budget next week at the full board meeting, but you'll recall that things were going to be a little bit tight and we might have had to dip into our reserves for pay everything. But it looks like we've got a little extra money to be able to get through the 218 process. So that's good.
That's great. Okay, thank you. So, all right, so discussion of existing grants. So we got that. So that closes that out, right?
Correct. I'd take public comment, even though, formality really.
I think she did.
Any public comment on discussion of existing grants? None.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we can move on to future grants.
Okay. All right, future grants.
So this is a combination of the conversation about the email you sent, Lisa, right?
Yes. I was just looking under, let's see.
Do you know when you sent that? Did you find it? Because I've got.
It was within the last month and I sent it to both of you. It was at the end, it's got to be like the last 2 weeks of April, I'm guessing. But that other one, the notice of public webinar, is probably an option for us too. I mean, my let me just go back up to the agenda for a minute. I mean, I look at items 6 and 7 as kind of the same thing, like future grants and discussion of a grant development plan.
Can we just take those concurrently?
Yeah, can we do that?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just work 6 and 7. Because
yeah, go ahead.
I was just looking at the minutes from the last meeting. So direction to staff to get subcommittee members a copy of the spreadsheet that Director Kennedy provided with a link to funding fair video from last year. Director Favran suggests meetings with the water board in Lamone's office. So, so it would be, well, Guy, I don't know what your thoughts are, but let me just tell you what I'm thinking is we should get all of our opportunities in one place. And then as soon as we have a project description, we need to have like a summit meeting with our electeds and say, okay, we've got a project description. Here's where we're headed. Here's the timing. Because we're going to need funds dedicated in the next fiscal year, right? Budgets are going to be done for this 25, 26. So we're going to need to figure out how to get them to help us run like hell, to have something in place for FY 26, 27 that's
Right.
going to be in advance of a vote.
And, you know, with the money that we've received and the budget, we had talked at one time about, you know, what don't have a good feel for, but as I mentioned before, I feel strongly about is that we should have some grant funding to support this effort. I mean, it was kind of
The Prop 218 effort.
no, for the entire project.
Oh, yeah.
And so where I was going with that is we had talked about some type of survey to find out what what's the word I'm looking for, tolerance. You know, what would the community support in terms of, you know, would the community support, you know, paying 75% of this if we got a 25% matching grant? Would they go 50-50? I mean, obviously the more the better, but what is the line where we think, you know, that we want to try to leverage and increase the success of a vote? Because if we go in full freight, you know, we don't have the numbers yet, so you know, we don't know what the appetite from the community would be, you know, on that. So I guess the question is do we, you know, before we do a 218 vote, would we want to know, well, we have this grant matching, or would we just say this is your max and we're going to go after grants and your number may come down?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. I think to simplify it, I think for most people most people are going to be like, what's the cost of advanced on-site versus hooking up? You know, if you're doing the math, like, where am I incentivized to say yes? It's if it's going to cost less than status quo or having to put in a new one.
Right.
So I think we could, you know, right or wrong. I mean, we can get into the why the advanced on-site idea is a flawed premise because of where we'd be headed from a regulatory standpoint. But
Right.
if you're like in the average person trying to do the math, to me, that's where it makes financial sense if we can drive it to equal or close to that. So, I mean, I'm also feeling like we this is a time to play hardball with these guys. It's like, you wanted this solution. We took this on after you guys didn't do anything for 40 years.
Well, and
So
that,
what do you know, step up and
yeah, and that's where I think I've kind of been in the past, is that one option, be up to the board, is we don't do a 218 until we have a grant commitment. For that very reason, say, you know, you're asking community to pay full freight, and we think we can go down the list of, they gave Los Osos money, they gave Carpinteria money for the beachfront
Yeah.
septic. I mean, there's money given to lots of communities, and to just say, well, we're not disadvantaged now. Was Los Osos disadvantaged?
Yes, part of it was, yeah,
Part of it was?
sure, yeah,
I doubt the Carpinteria beachfront homes were. So, yeah, so I don't know, that's ultimately a board decision, but it would be nice to have some idea of a grant, you know, to go along with the 218, especially I think it would help the 218. And if we go without one, then you know, it could just, and then back on your advanced onsite, I totally agree with what you're saying. And my fear is the advanced onsite could end up being a double dip. Maybe the community goes that way, and then ultimately regulatorily we're forced to do this anyway, and so now we have to pay again. And
well, I think that's the message that the regulators have to deliver.
right.
It's like, so, and I would argue on the chicken or the egg on getting the funding. We need to we need to demonstrate to LAFCO, to all of these folks, like, look, we voted on a project. Well, my point is, I don't think we wait. I think we have to create that sense of urgency. It's like, you guys have to act in this window because we're headed for a 218. And if you want to maximize the probability of our succeeding out of the gate on this, this is how you step up and do it. And that's by saying we're going to allocate whatever, however many, federal, state fund combination. I don't care what it is. It's like, you guys tell us what you're going to do.
And on that too is, it could be a grant, but there is also an avenue for direct state appropriation. It's not a grant. We're, our assemblyman and senator have a line item in the budget that goes to Los Olivos for this, and then it's not a
and it could be pending approval. It's like you get it if you pass the damn thing, and if you don't get it, this is like a one-time deal in this fiscal year. So I think, but to back to the grant plan, I mean, I think there's a couple things coming up. That one water board, the environmental project, because whatever that was, and then this one, the one I forwarded that we can't find on the 21st and the 29th. But my main thrust would be to, once we get a vote on the project description, is to convene this SWAT team or working group with all of our representatives to enlist them as partners in figuring out how we succeed.
And on that too, I know I got at least a verbal from Congressman Carvajal's office that he'll be there for the workshop next week.
Oh, wow. Great.
And did we get anything from the other two, or have we contacted them yet? Lamone and Hartsoff.
I don't know. That's a Guy and Julie question.
Okay.
Have the state legislators been contacted about attending the workshop, to your knowledge?
I have not. I'll have to look back. I forget who said they would do that. I remember somebody saying, "Oh, I'll take care of that." I know I talked to Tom about Carbajal.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if I also agreed to do.
I don't think it was me.
It was probably Julie, because Tom, quite simply, my ping to you about Carvajal's office was somebody talking to me about, I reached out to so-and-so.
Yeah.
Who do you know who's going to be there? Because I'd like to add them to the.
I'll ask Jeremy.
Okay.
I believe that Jeremy would be here if he were in the district, but he goes back and forth a lot.
He's supposed to, and I think Carvajal's in the district next week. I think he's in district because it came up in another forum.
Yeah, they can certainly attend just via Zoom as well, right?
Yeah.
But it would say a lot if they were here.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying that, I get it too. But I would like to note if somebody's going to be there, I'd like to know who it's going to be, but because I've got a slide for that. If I may, Madam Chair, for just a minute.
Please.
Yeah, so, this conversation about advanced onsite, and we're going to hear a bit about it at the workshop next week. But more and more, particularly the EHS regulators, Jason, is pointing out some of the fallacy to think that most of the community could even go to advanced onsite. And I've done some math, and he's kind of right. When you look at setbacks from property lines and structures and things like that, as well as the water table, you can't really use seepage pits because you have to have, for instance, 10 feet between your seepage pit and the top of the water table. So for instance, as you head south in our district, the water table is only at 8 feet. So you'd have to have your seepage pit 2 feet above the ground. I don't know how that would work, right? So there's really some issues there. I'm using an example in the slides related to that. There's a house on Park. You guys probably know where it is because you either live very close or you walk that street. That's been doing a bunch of construction, and they just put in a pool, and they've got some other things they're trying to do. It's a 3-bedroom house, not a particularly large house, but they had to put in advanced onsite for the construction they're doing. And their requirement with good percolation is 2 80-foot long leach lines, 3 feet wide each, separated by 5 feet. So imagine that on your properties, you know, do you have room for 80-foot long, basically 11-foot wide, 16 feet between your house and your property lines to be able to put that in? Lisa, you could probably take up the new bowling area you put in. That's probably almost 80
We
feet,
don't have
right?
a pool.
What's
Um,
that?
That's why we don't have a pool. So let me ask you though, so what
Yeah.
are where do those standards come from? Is that a water board standard or is that a county? Like who dictates? It's like is it a deliberate constraint or is it, do you know what I mean, on the county's part? Is that part of the noose tightening?
No, it's just
Make it
standard setbacks, just like with
that-
construction. You have to be X number of feet from property lines. It's standard setbacks.
So I would suggest, is that something the county could publish?
I'm putting it on the website for Wednesday's meeting.
Meaning
It's
he's put something in writing that's like advanced on-site feasibility for the community?
well, he can provide, and what he's done is he's provided the setbacks,
Got it.
the distances, and he's going to be prepared to help answer questions next
Okay.
week. I guess the
Okay.
point in that is just that while I agree completely personally that, you know, this sort of drive to can we get the cost for a typical homeowner to be no more than an advanced onsite installation, we have to keep in mind that a large number of our parcels couldn't even do advanced onsite because they can't get it physically in. And seepage pits are basically out of the realm of things given our water table depth.
Right, okay, that's good to know, but that's also a county message. Okay. So,
Was there a comment there?
well, I'm thinking about, so we're discussing the development of a grant plan, so I think it's, if we agree, we want to move to having like a stakeholder meeting on this, once we have a project description, I think it's incumbent upon us to do our homework, and here's everything we've identified as potential opportunities for us. Instead of going to the decision makers and saying, you know, what do you think? Like, here's what we've identified. Do any of these fit? Can any of you help us with these? Are there additional opportunities? Are there, you know, multi-level or interagency I just want them to help us solve the problem. But I think it's incumbent upon us to at least do an inventory of what we see is available in the grant.
So again, if I may, so I think this is all fabulous conversation. Maybe I can suggest that we do this. Sounds like there's general agreement. Maybe you can give direction to staff, meaning me, to as soon as we get a project description, to immediately set a grant meeting so we can walk through who's going to do what, that sort of thing. So that we can get this ball really rolling, and then, you know, set up a meeting with these people and so on and so forth. I can do some of the pre-work by gathering some of this up and updating that spreadsheet a little bit. But I think it's going to take more than just me to pull this one together. So direction might just be to set a meeting as opposed to waiting another 3 months, because these are on kind of a 3-month cycle.
Do we want to set a meeting? So what's our June meeting date?
11.
You want to set something like the week after that? What do you recommend,
Yeah,
Manager Savage?
let me just look at my calendar because I am out. Just look at.
Yeah, same. So June 11. And are we going to do the special in between, or is that going to be decided on the 14th?
That will be decided on the 14th, and I do have that meeting time for May 28th.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, so I'm out the 12th through the 22nd. So coming back Monday is the 23rd. So that week, you know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we could do that week if you're around that week.
Hang on, I'm just looking at what this is. Yeah, I've got if we could do it like the 20. If we could do it like the 25, 26, 27, towards the end of the week, I'm scheduled to be gone through the 24th, but that's flexible.
So the 26th, which is a Thursday, I got a doctor's appointment in the morning on the 27th, and I know we like to do mornings here. We could either do an afternoon on the 27th or the morning of the 26th.
Yeah, I'm wide open on the 26th. And
So we're talking the 25th through the, I'm sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth, 25th through the 20th.
through the
7th
27th
of June.
of June.
Yeah, let me find out when we can actually get in the room that you're not in, because it does make things easier. And June, it might be a little warm, even, so.
So just so you know, Guy, that the morning of the 27th, you know, I probably wouldn't be back until like around noon
Okay,
on that Friday, so. And actually, my eyes will be dilated, so let's shoot for Thursday if we can.
Wednesday or
yeah, okay, so I'll just say the 25th or the 27th.
So as part of the future plan, do we want to talk about, I've got the water board's interested parties for environmental package requirements. May 15th, August 14th, and November 13th. I've got that one up. It says, we'll focus on environmental package requirements for the various funding programs administered by the water board. Blah, blah. So I guess. I mean, I think I can do this one. May 15th, 1 to 2. It'd be better to do it and wait instead of waiting till August.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not sure what you're referring to, but,
So it's this email here. I can forward it again.
or just, yeah,
I can
okay.
share it. I can't share my screen,
Oh, I can turn that on.
but
Good.
I'm not the one running the,
You should be able to share.
We're on my computer. She's not connected to the Zoom.
Oh, okay, I see, okay,
here, I'll forward it and then you can share it.
okay. I've got so many things here, it's not even funny.
I can imagine. So it'll be in the top of your inbox. It says notice of public webinars.
Ah, got it. Environmental package, public notice, that one.
Yes. So I can do that from 1 to 2 on the 15th. So I'll plan on attending that. And then there's the other one that we can't find.
Yeah.
That's
I've
the
been-
21st to 20 or
Been
the
looking for
29th.
that.
It's like evaporated. So I'm just putting that on the 15th on my calendar right now.
So here's the one that you're referring to, I think.
Yes,
So you'll do the May 15th one.
yes. I'm just calendaring it right now. Okay,
And one of us, I'm sure, can find the other one at some point.
and I'm
Don't know
sure
what-
I'm stuck on the whole, maybe if I put in May 21. That's not it. Well, can we just agree that we'll find it? I don't know, unless we want to work it right now, we can. Maybe if I put both of you. And
I found it, I think. It actually came originally to me from Megan Dietenhofer. Let me see if this is it. Hold on.
well,
Let's see. Let's see if this is one you're talking about. Scroll over, but is this the one? Because it's Thursday, May 29th.
Maybe. It's not the one I was thinking of, but that's one we should look at. Is that the drinking water one? What is it?
Water and Environmental Program, Community Facilities Program Virtual Workshop, May 29th.
Okay, well, we should do that one. Maybe I'm making it up that I thought there was 2 dates. There was one that was offered for 2 different dates.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything other than what that one was.
Okay, then maybe I'm losing my mind. Is that something you can do, Tom? Let me look at that. I might be able to do that one too.
May 29th at 10 a.m. I know I had received this one.
I can do
directly
that.
as well.
Can you forward that to me?
Yeah, I'm working on that now. Unfortunately, too many windows in the way.
And that's what time? 10 a.m.?
If I'm sharing what I'm typing or not, but
Sure.
all right. So I sent it to both of you.
Thank you. Well, how about I'll do these 2 and then Tom, if you can pick up that other one when we find it.
Okay.
How's that?
If I'm here.
Yeah, well, it's a webinar. All right.
And if it's a webinar, don't they normally, aren't those recorded and you can play
Yeah,
them back to?
usually.
So if
yeah.
it's not interactive, right?
I think
Correct.
so. Okay. All right. Okay, well, I'll get this. Yeah, as long as we get it done between now and June. The June,
25 or 27. Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
I'll do, once I get back, I can do some poking around and see if I can find out more about these and find that other one. I know I've got it somewhere. I'm happy to attend one of them as well and report back.
okay, so this is a registration. Partnerships are. WEP funding necessary to develop drinking water and waste disposal systems. What is the eligible area? So, I mean, some of this we just have to do to run it to ground, right? Because we're gonna have to be able to go back to the feds and the state folks or in the county and say, look, we tried, we're not eligible for USDA because we're not disadvantaged, or we're not, it's like we need to know where the opportunities as well as the dead ends are too. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
So just from a meeting perspective, why don't you go ahead and see if there's anybody, I'm not seeing, is there nobody still there, but
No.
public
No.
comment?
Nope, no public comment.
We can get into the details of this maybe on June 25th and 27th.
Yeah. Okay, I know we're kind of getting bogged down here. Let's go back to our whoop. All right. Informational items. Subcommittee member comments.
I don't have anything.
I don't have any more either. Anything from you, General Manager?
Nothing.
Okay, then item 9, adjournment.
Adjournment at 9:29.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, suffer the rest of your time in Hawaii.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Got some good volcano action.